Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, I am Randy, the news guy, and you got hot off the press. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. And I've got a great guest lined up today to talk through all kinds of fun stuff. Before I get a chance to introduce him, however, I will ask you, hey, if you would like, subscribe, follow, notify, all of those fun kinds of things so that you can be sure to join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Love for you to subscribe to our channel as well. And if you have questions, hey, throw them in the chat, in the messages. We'll get to them and we'll talk and answer anything and everything that we can. All right, sounds good. Today's guest, I've had him on the show before. This guy, I love him. He is truly just I think he's a fascinating person. B, he really is a quality man, and I always enjoy talking with him. And he actually knows a thing or two about business and SEO as well. So today I am pleased to have on the show Eldar Cohen from Local Marketing Local Whiz app. I don't know. You got so many different things cooking, dude.
And Local Dominator.
And Local Dominator, which is like my main go-to. I use that all the time, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the introduction, Randy. I'm super excited to be here and I'm humbled to be here. And
Yeah.
I do love and enjoy joining and chatting with you and the show. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you, Happy New Year. You know, it's that's I think this is the first I've had a chance to talk with you into the new year. So, yeah, which is always fun. We'll talk a little bit about New Year's goals, or I'm not a big fan of resolutions. I don't quite kind of subscribe to that mindset, but I do love goals. I'm a very goal focused kind of person. So I do attack goals. So we'll hit on some of those things. For those of you who are not familiar with Eldar, I'll throw this link I'm going to show into the chat. But you can find Eldar here. This is one of his. I like this one because it's got your image on here. You look good, and you don't have the wizard hat in this image, but that's all right. But you can go and find information about Eldar here. And yes, I should pull up. Let me
I
tab
also
this.
have eldarcohen.com. That's another one
Oh,
of
you
mine.
do.
I
Ah,
do.
you can also go to Local Dominator. And I do have to tell you, folks, this is the program that I use for local marketing, heat map ranking, and monitoring. Plus, it does so many other things I don't even use it for. I mean, I just absolutely dive into the local heat map, and I don't know. I can't say enough good things about that. Um, and I'm going to give you a little more plug on this thing because this thing is so good. I use this when I'm like on a prospect call. I'll pull it up like a map for either a client that we're working with right now or like some projects that we've worked with and are internally that we're doing. And I show them the different things. I'm not kidding you. 90% of the times we can close the lead, the prospect, just because we're going through the map and they're like, wow, it's just so impressive. It's just a great tool to be able to show. And I love you click on the thing and it shows the competitor. So like here you are at number 5 and let's go click it. Here are your competitors that are ranking above you, right? That is like, you talk about, an ego kicking the nuts, man. That is
Show you something a little bit. We'll do a screen share. I'll show you something that I've been doing, and it'll be like, whoa.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Before we get into that, though, I do want to just say, hey, um, just do a real quick intro of who you are, where you are, what's your background on, just so in case anybody is not familiar with you, give me a little bit of background.
right
Two
on.
minutes, 2 minute background, 30
That's
second
all.
background. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. So my elevator pitch, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
Eldar, moved from Israel to the States, back from the States to Israel after like 15 years, doing a lot of entrepreneurship through all those years. Started computer stuff when I was like 13 or 14, sold my first website, and moving forward, done a lot of deals and different things. And then I got into the SEO world when I was frustrated and I was trying to generate leads for myself. That's kind of how I got into the whole thing, got me back to computers, and had my agency, was struggling with my agency, figured out how can I scale it. I literally 8x it in like 18 months. And then after I done that, I realized some other stuff about the agency, that I wasn't focusing on the right stuff. Then I realized that I have to tune up my agency and focus on the bottom line, which was a very painful lesson. And then fast forward, I've done a lot of coaching, and I also have some softwares like Local Dominator, Local WizApp, and some other cool stuff that I'm working on. This is my 30 seconds kind of like.
It's good. So you've been around the block, you dig in, you got a lot of different application, software platform services that you do. So, folks, this is the real deal. This guy has got it. All right. So, yeah, man. So we kind of opened the door about Local Dominator. Now, hey, folks, this is not a complete pitch on Local Dominator, but I will tell you, though, Eldar is such a great expert on local ranking, and from that service that he has provided, he also then, from that, right, he identified a need, created a great tool called Local Dominator. And so you come, I think, from a unique experience. You were doing the services, you're providing, you're ranking your clients, so you understand, right, the methods that can drive results. And then you're like, I need a tool that I can really demonstrate this stuff for my clients. And so, boom, Local Dominator, bread. So go ahead, share your screen.
Yeah.
Let's.
Before I'll do that, I'll just share like another thing while I get my screen ready, because I wasn't prepared to do any screen shares. Uh,
Hey,
but when
and,
when it was like 2 years ago, something like that, Michael Rabra and I was doing some business together. And one of the things that we've done, we were doing consultings, and then we did some white label stuff. And the challenge that we experienced back then was that all the tools that was available in the market was very expensive. We used to pay thousands of dollars, kid you not, thousands. And the problem was the accuracy. So the
yeah, I
challenge
know.
optimize something and then you get the wrong data. So wait, if I see something as number 3, but it's in reality it's number 8, or vice versa. The biggest challenge was when we would send reports and then the client would be like, but that's not true. Like, I don't see myself. You're telling me I'm number 1. Or then we're like, all right, we got to figure this thing out. So fast forward, that's kind of like we did what we did. And then eventually I took the software on my shoulders, and this is where we're at. So let me do a little
Let me ask you a question. So while you're kind of doing some tinkering in the back there, let me ask you in this regards, because I will tell you straight up, that is the number one reason why I moved from one platform over to Local Dominator, which was the accuracy of your tracking. Because I was like, huh. And so I went and I looked at what Local Dominator was showing, and then I would go in and do my own search and try to see. I'm like, sure enough, there it is. It's exactly what. And that convinced me. I'm like, you sold me right there, that accuracy. What I want to understand, and I don't want any trade secret or anything, but why are platforms, so like yours, accurate, other platforms not accurate? What the hell are you doing that they're not doing, or what are they not doing? I don't understand how there can be a big gap, and I don't want you to divulge any like super
Yeah, yeah,
secret.
I get it. I don't know. Like the truth
That's a good. Yeah,
yeah, because I'm so focused on my stuff that I don't really try to figure out others. Like I don't have any others like accounts. Like I just don't. And I don't log in anymore. I used to do that and like different things, but I don't like. So I don't know what they do. I just know what we do, and the
yeah,
way we do it, we get real data. Like
yeah,
the second you conduct a search, we get you the real data.
yeah.
So maybe they're trying to save. I do know some are using cash, some are
Yeah.
using averages, different things of that sort. My thing out of the gate was I have to get the data as is. So when we created it, that was the focus. That's what we started it for. So I think maybe with others, they have different agendas. So
I don't know, but it's certainly it would seem like if you're gonna have a tool that is tracking data, tracking rankings, tracking, for what heat map, you would want that sucker to be as accurate as possible, I
yeah,
would think.
absolutely,
Right? Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, Joe, good to see you, man. Joe from Loud Egg. We got Terry from Solterra. Good to see you. We got Ahmed. All right. Following I like following Elder, not following me, but following you, which is good. That's fun. Yeah. Good morning to Pamela as well. Always good to have her and see her. All right. So pop up. What do you got?
So
Show
yeah,
me show me
um,
the things that I'm not using it for
yeah, I'm going to show
and
you
wow
something
me. All right.
you're for sure not using. And actually, let me just run a search real quick. Actually, I'll do this live. Why we share screen? Let's share
We got like
history.
the bearded duo going on here. That's good.
Yeah, it's new for you. I like it. I
It
like
is it is somewhat new for me. How long have you had your beard?
since I was 12.
All right. Well, I had hair when I was 12 too. So that's
I may exaggerate a little bit, but oh, that's funny.
good.
But
Yeah,
yeah, since I remember myself, man, let's do San Antonio's first point. Uh,
that's funny.
yeah, like I used to. While I'm doing this and showing you guys, just tell a story. I used to date a girl in the States, right? And she always used to say about my beers, like take it off, right? Like in the States, we have a lot of. It's more clean, right? In
Mm.
a lot of areas, right? So after she's seen like Israelis, we kind of watch like Israeli shows and stuff. He's like, I understand why you have a beard. Everybody with beard is kind of like you born with it, you never shave it. So it's like,
That's funny.
so I'm gonna take a random business, whatever. I don't know.
All right.
Right click. If my thing will load. I don't know why. Man, sometimes with Google it's weird. It's just not loading.
I know it. I know it.
Oh, all right, let's Google Maps real quick and Plumber and San Antonio. Yeah, I'm in Israel right now, so it's just showing that. Let's do it. Doesn't matter. I'm just trying to find somebody random.
Yeah, yeah, good.
Good. All right. So let's say this is my prospect. So I go to this guy. I go in here, put it here, and then I put plumber. Put it there. San Antonio, right? San Antonio. Let's do that. Perfect. And of course, you can add as many keywords as you would like, near me, all that good stuff, whatnot, right?
Mm.
What I want to show you is how we can use the dynamic link in a really good way
Yeah.
to aggravate and pinch the prospect nerves in a way. And that's kind of what we want to do, right? Because when we do prospecting, we want that prospect to feel what we're trying to tell them, right?
Yeah.
So we tell them it really hurts you that you're not ranking. We really want to show them. Now, as you can see, this was pretty quick, right? So let's go to share and I'll go to the dynamic URL. So within the dynamic URL, what we can see here, we can see the prospect, which is right here, number 6, right?
Mm.
So they're right here, number 6, and we can show them that Roadrunner, Plumbing, and Air are ranking number 1 within their geographic.
Oh, get out of here. You just absolutely killed me. I love that. So if I click on that competitor, then their ranking heat map pops up. Oh, that is balls. Wow.
Imagine.
That is good.
I know. And I was talking to James Slattery, like when I was showing him this, like it was a while ago. He was like, "Man, the attorneys will freak out. Like,
Oh, that is
so much
yes.
info." So
Wow.
like you can show them like this is outranking you. This one is outranking you. This one is outranking you. These guys are outranking you. Now watch how this is getting even more annoying, like for them, right? Not annoying, but
Yeah.
so let's say you go. This is where they're located, where number one is, right here.
Yeah.
So let's say we drive just a mile down the street, right, to where it says number four, and we take this little guy here and we drop it. Let me zoom in so I can do that right there. And we show the prospect, and we say this: if your potential client is physically standing right here at this parking lot where this vehicle is, they will see you number three. But guess what? They will see Roadrunner number one, two
Mm,
less than a mile away from your business. They are outranking you less than a mile from your business.
yeah.
How's that
Oh,
feel,
yeah.
prospect?
How does that feel? Yeah, kick in the nuts is what that feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when you show them all of that stuff, like all of those things,
Yeah.
they're like, whoa, like crap. Like they have, it's like a moment of like you
Yeah.
drop like heavy bag on, like on their head, and they're like, whoa, they're outranking me in my own yard. I have to take action because
Yeah.
it's literally in their own yard. Now,
Yeah.
this wasn't that bad. I mean, their ranking, it's not as bad, right? I
Right.
probably wouldn't prospect somebody at 9.8. I do like to prospect people more at the 14 and above because they're
Right.
really
Right.
out of the game, right? It's
Yeah.
so easy
Yeah.
to turn it red to green. Um, so when you do show a person like this, usually they don't even have rankings at their location. So when they see somebody else is outranking them at their yard, they freak out, and it's really easy to close the deal. And all you have to
Yeah.
do is just take a picture, you snap a photo, you put them one by one, you send it via email, and you're good. It will do
Yeah.
the whole thing for you.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to understand what does that mean. If I'm in the red and if somebody is physically standing there and they have to scroll down because I'm number six or seven in the list,
Right.
most
Right.
times I'm not going to get the calls. So
Mm.
when I teach somebody and I show them this thing, I'll take them and I'll be like, here's your map. What's your most important keyword? And then I'll show them all of that stuff. And you know what I'll do? Like usually I'll pause the same way I pause here and I'll ask them, I
And then
know
you're like,
it's a it's a little evil move, but when I do ask them how it feels, you can see their face. You can
yeah.
see it. And that's all I have to do to prospect and like to close the deal and do those things. And something important, I know a lot of people like to really um, like complicated things, but when you make things simple, it's just simple. It works. There's really no need to complicate stuff. And
Mm.
based on that, I kind of want to share something. Several years ago, I was talking to somebody, and it was kind of mentoring me on something, and he asked me a question. The question was like this: he said, "If you ever," he said, "Do you ever ride a bus when you're a kid or whatever, school like stuff?" Obviously, yes. And he said, when you got into the bus, you look at everything, and the bus is completely empty, right? That's one version. The second option is you get into the bus and it's completely full and there's one available seat. So your mind goes to that seat automatically. When
Right.
there's no options, your mind just focus, your mind understand that you need to sit at that spot. When you walk to that bus and it's completely empty, your mind goes, whoa! Why? Because do I want to sit at the front? Do I want to sit at the back? Maybe if I sit at the front, I'll be the first to get off the bus. But if I sit at the back, I'll be with the cool kids. But if I
Yeah.
do that,
Too many choices.
too many choices. When we show a prospect too many things, like a report, like a PDF with a million diagrams, with a million numbers, what happened to the prospect is like, they're like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Give it to me, like dumb it up for me, right? So when I show this and I don't go into too much, like into their backlinks, into that, it's like, it's that simple. You are not ranking at your backyard, somebody else is. It's night and day. Like it's that easy to understand. Do you understand that? And they say
Yeah.
yes. And that's it. Do you
Yeah.
want me to
Yeah.
do more? I'll do more. That's after. That's after you get on board, because this is when we get into the details. This is when we get into the pixel. We figure out why this happens, and then we break it down, and then we break down our tasks and all those things.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's super important to keep things very, very simple and not overcomplicate them. There's really no need to find shiny tools or different things, or just keep it simple. Show
Yeah.
them the data and just let the data work for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I like it.
I love that. I love that. I didn't realize that I could do that dynamic link and kind of like click and then on the competitor and show their rank map. But I absolutely didn't know where I could like go move the pin and then like go and pop it up and then see, oh man, that is boss. But I love that. I think it's a great tool, and I say I've had just good success just doing the way that I've done closing. Now I'm going to like take my 90% to 100%. I do love as well. You've got some great videos. I'm going to flash up your YouTube channel. I put this in the chat as well. Go to the YouTube channel. Eldar's got a lot of great training videos to go learn local dominators. So yeah, I love it. I love it. And some of the stuff like I don't use the, and this is just me. I just don't do it. It's nothing against the program. I just haven't explored it. But I know you've got other things that you can do within the app as well that we haven't explored. But yeah, got a question for you here. Can local dominator also help with local SEO fulfillment?
Yes and no. Here's the yes and here's the no. You can do all the GMB stuff, upload posts, answer
Yeah.
reviews, all those things. And all of the extra fulfillment is being fulfilled by Local Wiz app, which you also get access as part as your membership with Local Dominator. So using Local Wiz app, you can use our citation finder to find relevant citations. You can use the index tool. You can use the AI to create articles for you. You create projects. You can create not landing pages, but location pages and different things. So local Dominator kind of gives you all the data, while local Wiz gives you all the fulfillment and the optimizations and stuff like that. And not probably, I just don't know the date for it, but at some point during this year, it's going to merge. Like it's going to be just under one
Ah.
roof.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
be nice.
working
Yeah.
on a lot of stuff. Yeah. If you see
Yeah.
me quiet, that means I'm working. I've been quiet recently. It's just because I'm working a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, you have a what is your baby? Not quite a year old yet, right? So you're somewhat busy.
Yeah.
Being a
Oh,
dad takes time, right?
man, my baby, yeah, he's like 10 months old.
Yeah,
Little kid, yeah, he's 10 months old. He's so cute.
yeah. It goes fast. I'm telling you, brother.
But they're always sick, man. Like, I just like, why kids are always sick? That's like a
Mm.
rough being a kid.
They have no, you have to think about it. When they're born, they have no. Now, we should ask Pamela. Pamela is like up here. Pamela is like the parent guru. But I can at least answer the thing about the babies is because they have no immune system, right? So they're like, they come into this world and bombarded by all kinds of stuff. And so they have some immune system that they've acquired from the mother through while in the womb. But generally, though, they're just like susceptible, right? They're yeah. But all right, all right. So New Year. 2025. You've already mentioned like, yeah, we're gonna blend some stuff together. Now, I already said, I'm a big goal kind of guy. I love putting numbers out to go hit. I love, trying to push myself to go do different things. Like I kind of break my goals into business, into personal, into relationships, right? So I'm trying to focus and always trying to drive myself to improvement in different areas. Um, so I'll even give a few examples. So on the health side, I've always been focused on improving my sleep, but now I'm also really focused on hey, I've I exercise a lot, and I've always been one to either run or whatever. And I've for years I've been that guy. But now I'm also really focused on how I can kind of take that next step of improvement. And so I've really been intently studying supplements and what kind of supplements I can take to help drive even greater, not necessarily strength. I'm not looking to bulk up or any of that. I like, physically, I like where I am, but really it's more about just improving health, energy, cognitive ability, right? Just being able to keep a focus going. So, Brian Hung, our dude, if you know Brian, is like my guru and steering me on, things to go check out. Yeah. But that's one of my things. So I'm going to open it to you. I'm like, okay, Eldar, because I know you're somewhat similar. I know you drive. You've got a drive, an internal drive. So
And
what kind of things are you can you share, I guess, that you'd feel free to share? What do you got in store for 2025?
well, I actually, before I go into me, I wanna ask you something on that. So when
I
you
love
said,
it. Nobody asked me anything. This is good.
yes, why not? Um, so when you made all of those resolutions, right, those New Year resolutions, was it because of the New Year that you
No.
said, I'm going to take care of this and that and that and that?
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's not. That's what I was trying to get at. I'm not a resolutions guy, so I like to set a goal, but I do goals based on I think in order to achieve a goal, you set a time frame around it, right? So I generally will take a larger goal and say maybe we'll say it's business, right? And so I'm like, hey, I want to hit a 30% growth in revenue this year, is my goal. And so I'll break it down into different kinds of metrics and things that I can begin to measure it. Like, all right, so on a month to month basis, I want to be here. In this quarter, I know I'm trying to drive here because there's some seasonality in our business. And then I ask myself, well, how can I do that? So it's not just like, hey, I want to get 30% growth. Okay. I hope it comes. But it's like, how? What am I going to do? So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I dig in, I look at our services, like this service is really good. How can I promote it or push it even more? Get it in front of more people. I'm going to, similar to you, you're like, hey, I'm going to blend these two things together, these two apps together. I'm like, all right, in order to be able to hit, here's a service that I think that we could launch that I think can drive X amount that's going to contribute, 6% of my 30% growth that I want to hit, right? So I begin really to like boom, boom, boom. And similar, I'm like, all right, I'm going to launch this new service in Q2 and then boom. So I'm doing all of the stuff. So I map it out. I mean, I get fucking serious about it.
Nice. Well, I did notice you have a bunch of new services.
Oh
So
yeah,
there's,
we're constantly adding, looking at stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I had my team grab some stuff. Actually, matter of fact, I had a meeting with, never mind the meeting. So for my team, like there's like 20 orders we gotta push there. So there's a
Yeah,
bunch
no
of
kidding, man. Get it rolling.
no, yeah, yeah.
Take
Let's
care
go.
of my man. Yes. So
It's
it's not
the PR,
necessarily just about the year. What's that?
not just the PR.
Oh, I
The
know.
other
Yeah.
whole
No, we
piece of
do a ton of link building stuff. Yeah.
stuff.
Um, but to your question, though, it's not the new year is just kind of that from a timeline standpoint, because so much of this stuff kind of is around business, and you look at kind of your business from a year end and year kind of span. So I just always find like I start thinking about the next year, or kind of my next kind of reset or not reset. That's not really a good word, but the next phase of growth, I started kind of thinking about it on a timeline like October. And then I start digging in and start kind of thinking about how, I could do or whys behind it as well, like in November. And then December, I'm really fine tuning what those are going to be. And then, you know, January, then it's like, all right, let's start it running. I do a dive. I'm like, all right, kind of the last 2 weeks of December, I take a look back and like, this worked, this worked. Oh, I really fell short in this. Why did I fall short? So it's just, the new year, the calendar, January, it just seems to lend itself as a good, you know, stake in the sand to like hit my, kind of desired outcome.
No, definitely. The thing is, they always say that the first 2 weeks of the year is the most busiest 2 weeks at a gym.
Oh
And
yeah,
then the further you go, all of those people fall through. And that kind of brings me to New Year resolutions and different things around that subject, right? We don't need the new year to have a resolution or to have a goal.
right.
And all of those things should have already like be prepared well, like way in advance, right? So if I get to 2025 and I'm like, all right, what's gonna be my goals?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Way late. Like I'm already thinking of 26 and 27 in different things, not everything, right? Because
right, right.
there is a saying, right? We plan and God's laughing. So there's a limit of how much, but at like a 10,000 feet view, you want to have a little bit of a sense of where you want to go with different things. And of course, you're going to make adjustments and things like that. So some things that I've been doing recently more is really working on KPRs, objective key results, and I'm trying to bring everything that I have into an OKR and figure it out in a better and more measurable way on whatever component it is that I want to measure with the results.
Hmm.
Uh, One of the things that I noticed that is helping is where when you set the goal and you set the OKR and then you bring it down, you bring it down, you bring it down, you drill down, and eventually you make it to a very simple kind of task on how you're going to hit that objective, right? And one of the things that sometimes we do is we have really, really big goals. The challenge with big goals is sometimes it's very hard to reach, and then you get frustrated. So when you drill it down, when you have the goal and you bring it down, you make it a whole lot easier to
Yep,
actually execute and more realistic. Because if you say, for example, I want to have, I'm just throwing like whatever you said, right, 30% increase or 30% margin, whatever it is, and maybe it's a big goal, maybe not, it doesn't matter, like that's not the point. But when you, as you said, when you bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, okay, now I know that on Monday I have to do this, and Tuesday I got to do this, and here's this.
right,
And if I
right.
do this 6 months in a row, then I can get that and that. If I'm going to hire 7 people, 20 do that, whatever it is, then I can get to that. Um, and it's not just throwing a goal in the air. And that's where a lot of people, I think, kind of like they say, well, I want to grow my business. Like, how many times did you speak with an entrepreneur or a business owner and you said, all right, well, I'll help you, whatever it is. All right, what do you
Right,
want? And then I'll say, I want to take my business to the moon. Great. What is the moon? And they're like, well, I want to have a lot of more business and I want, great. How much is more? All right. And then they mumble. Like, I'm sure it happened. Like, and correct me if I'm wrong. When you talk to somebody and they have no clue of what they really want,
right.
and then you're like, how do I supposed to help you? You don't know. Like you should figure that out first.
Yeah,
Then we can talk. Now we can brainstorm on how we can
yeah.
get to that objective. So I made a post yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And I don't know if you saw it. It's a little long post, and I kind of brought some stuff from my past to that post. And I'll share it. So I posted it because I've seen few people that day that didn't really like what they were doing. It's not,
Mm,
I'm not judging anybody. Everybody can do whatever they want. I know I'm not, whatever, everybody do their own. However, I know what works for me. And for example, there was one guy, and this was really sticking me up. And he's a younger guy. And, we were talking about some marketing stuff and didn't really have much budget. But he spent a lot of his money on his car, on different things and stuff like that. And it brought me back to younger me. It was like 12 years ago. So where I remember I purchased a car that I shouldn't have purchased that time. And instead of allocating my funds into something that makes sense, that was going to something that didn't. And it hurt me. It really hurt me because I couldn't progress financially because of that.
Mm.
And the reason I couldn't is that at that time I wasn't established. So my income wasn't proper, at least for what the banks like in order to get like a loan, not a loan, but
Right,
like a
right.
mortgage and stuff like that. When you're younger, you don't have a lot of those things properly organized, right? But my point was to that story is that I met somebody that kind of gave me a little mentorship on something, and I was like, whoa, what am I doing here? What am I doing? So, long story short, I got rid of the expensive car that I had, and I got a cheap ass car that was barely hitting the highway speed. And it was a very hard decision for me as a person because I felt that
Mhm.
I felt downgraded. And when people looked at me, they they asked me like that was man that was a little painful. I can't cover that.
Yeah.
Like I remember one person was like, "Oh, what happened to your BMW? What is that shitty car?" And I'm like, and but again, the little did he know that I was just trying to clear all my credit so I can get mortgage and get a house. Like down the street, a couple of months after, I got a house. So when we think about our goals, when we look at what we are trying to do, where we want to go, we really need to look at the important stuff. And a lot of us, and I do this as well, and that's why I always remembering this, and I'm always reminding to myself as well that you have to do the important stuff, and you have to, and it's not just with money, right? It's with our time,
Right,
with whatever
right.
resource, everything. And sometimes, especially when you're young, if you do those things smartly, when you get a little bit older, the compound effect of those good decisions, it's amazing how effective it is and how life changing this is.
Yeah.
And we see it, like you can see a younger guy that took some good decisions while the other person was taking bad decisions, was going and getting drugs. I'm exaggerating. Right? It's just a decision. This guy was doing drugs, the compounding effect after 10 years, he's working at McDonald's, whatever. And the other guy is educated with a nice job, whatever it is, have a house, have a car, have a family. And it's really important on what are we like those decisions, like we have to look at those decisions educatedly and be smart about it.
Hmm. Yeah, so solid. I will just tell you. So your son is 10 months old. My son is 19 years old now, and and yeah, good wisdom, exactly. And I was driving him up back to school. He's at first year university, and we were just talking about life a little bit. He was asking me about when do you buy a house? It's kind of like good adult questions, right? And we just started talking a lot about this. And similar to you, I made just dumb financial decisions when I was a kid, right? When I was in my 20s, like stupid cars, right? I don't know what the allure is with cars. When you're young, especially, you think you need to have the BMW or need whatever, just dumb. Um, and and we were having this conversation. And then I was like talking to him about, just saving even a little bit of money. Uh,
Mhm.
and I told him, is like, listen, when the biggest asset that you have right now is time. You
Time.
have got you are 19, you have got so much time. You could do just a little bit, but
Yeah.
because of time, you will be shocked at what the time value of money can do for you because you can just like you do $100 a month and you do that consistently over time, you'll be a multimillionaire by the time you're my age, right? I'm like, I didn't do that. I was dumb. And, but you can do that, son. And it's always like, how do you, now I'd say this as a parent now, it's like, how do you like learn those important life lessons as soon as you can versus when you're 30 or 40, right? So
Well,
because to leverage time.
yeah, but it's how did the Bible or the Torah was moving from one person to the other all those years
Yeah,
before
yeah,
it was written? Because a father was teaching his son, and a
yeah,
father was teaching his son, and
yeah.
the thing is, not everybody have those lessons to learn from their
Yes, yeah,
parents, and
yes,
sometimes the parents don't. My dad is amazing. He still teaches me things to this day. Like I learn a lot from him. I think he's genius in a
that's
lot
good.
of things.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
He never was oriented on different things. Some financials was not oriented like the stuff I'm talking about right now. So he couldn't teach me that aspect of things. So I had to learn, and that's why it took me years kind of like to figure it out, and probably the same for you. But
Oh
if
yeah,
you have a partner like you that talks to your kid and say, "Hey, you start investing now." By the
yeah,
time he's getting to 40 and 50, he's going to be a different place in life. I'm
yes,
coaching two kids. They're 26, both of them. They're friends, and I'll tell you, by the time they will get to my age right now, which is almost 40, they will superb me probably 5 to 10x
yeah.
because they started 10 years with somebody that
I know,
counts them with
I
those
know.
little.
Yes,
So
time is so incredible, how you can make it work for you.
yeah,
Um,
the
yeah,
compounding,
yeah,
the compounding. Hey, if somebody is on this channel and you haven't listened or read the book, Compound Effect, you have to read it. It's fabulous book.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
compounding, it's
yes,
probably the
yeah,
best
yeah,
and most lucrative financial tool that's
yeah.
available. Like
Well,
compounding.
and another great book is that I have both of my kids read. I have a daughter who's 17, so I still get a lot of influence yet on her because I see her every day. But The Philosophy of Money, that is
Mm,
another great book to like, man,
yeah.
get your kids to read that as early as possible. Um, Dude,
Uh,
I love talking with you. You're a good dude. Let me ask you, because now, well, I want to pull it back a little bit more and just talk about the industry a little bit.
yeah, sure.
I've on Mondays at noon Eastern time, I do a show with Craig Campbell and Holly Starks, and we were talking about this subject yesterday, which is really where we see the digital marketing and or SEO space
Mhm.
evolving, in 2025, right? Because there's a lot of conversation out there, is SEO dead, right? I don't know if you've seen that. SEO is dead. I don't know. They've been saying that for a decade or more. But I am always very curious on people's perspectives, because then it helps, kind of frame my perspective as I talk with a lot of people. Um, I'm curious. So your thoughts, where do you think this year and the advent, AI is like so prevalent. Where do you see search and SEO and digital marketing going?
So I'm kind of waiting for Google to start monetizing the AI suggestion and the SERP with AI.
Mm.
I have a feeling they're going to do something at some point that is going to be related to that. I don't think
Meaning,
that.
when you're saying monetize, meaning that they will monetize it for themselves, so
No.
that I could
So,
buy into being a served up source or citation in the AI generated. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to happen. Yes.
it's the it's something that's going to happen. It's something that's going to happen. And thank you, Travis.
Travis, I love Travis. He is another good dude.
And the thing is, it's pulling to that direction. And I don't know, to be honest, right? There's so many things that are unknown because the AI is changing so fast, and the big companies are also figuring it as they go. You can
Yeah.
see it with Google. Google is figuring shit as they go. The reason I
I
say shit
know, isn't it? Don't you feel that way? I swear, I feel like Google doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they're figuring it out as they roll. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of shows in the search.
I mean, like somebody woke up upset this morning. Like that's kind of like how it feels sometimes. Like they do a little test or sometimes whatever, and they like
Yeah,
for a while they don't know. They go back, so they really trying to figure as they go. Which is, if you think about it, it's unprecedented because a major company like Google has to act under fire in a way. Because when OpenAI started, Google freaked out, right? We all remember that with Broad and this, they
right,
freaked
right,
out.
right.
Their AI was junk, like it wasn't even close to OpenAI. And they freaked out. So they rushed into the table, like everybody. You remember that
Yeah.
there was a week where their CEO was
Oh, they did a
throwing.
presentation, and it was like complete, oh, yeah,
So
disaster.
they're freaking out, and we see they're also freaking out by the stuff that they give us. So I think that we're going to see a lot of changes in 25. That something can happen and they can change until they go figure something out. And in my vision, Google is not in my vision. We all know it. They're all about money. So once they'll figure out how they can make money off of this, like really monetize it with the
Right,
search,
right.
not just selling us the subscription for Gemini, then I think it's going to take a whole lot more real estate in the SERP.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to say instead of like sponsor, they're going to say AI suggested. I don't know yet. Like, what's up, James?
Man.
I see Brian here. Like, what's up, Kato? You're messing with
Yeah,
us.
I know Cato's up as well. Dude, I love Cato.
So, I mean, all of those things are going to happen. And the big guys are all over the place. They're all
Mhm.
over the place. And I also think at some point they will realize they kind of went way too far and
Yeah,
try to put it in. And then, because there's a border here, there's a fine line with all
mhm,
that stuff. So I
yeah,
think they also don't know where the line is. And they just kind of like shooting darts, like just like see what sticks, see what hits.
yeah,
And then eventually this year, I believe we're going to have more stable towards the end of the year.
yeah.
Um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree. I think, definitely Google is kinda cooking it, throwing the ingredients in as they're cooking it, and definitely the way that they've got it laid up right now, and there's been information that even kind of proves this, is that they're already taking a little bit of a hit on their ad revenue because the ads are pushed down below the generative response. And so people aren't even scrolling past it. Like, okay, that's good. Boom. And they're gone. So they're not having the opportunity to hit the ad itself. So I think Google is going to continue to make changes. And as well, I think it will become a necessity as people do more search on some of the other AI platforms, whether it be Perplexity or ChatGPT, or I'm sure that Claude or Gemini will integrate, search within their platform specific. So that will essentially, people won't be going to Google nearly as often.
Some people will conduct more searches with AI tools. The
Yeah.
interesting thing, I did a little test yesterday. I had somebody here, and we had a few computers, and each computer had its own ChatGPT open on it, and we had the same exact question, the same model, and interesting enough, we didn't get the same results.
Ah.
So now the question comes: if the AI brings results for the same exact query at the
Mm,
same exact location at exact model, why the answers are not the same at the same time too. I mean, we just did give me the best plumber in Tempe. Like we started with this,
mhm,
and then we
mhm.
give me the business in that city and this that. It's like stuff like that. And it was really interesting to see that every time the results was slightly different.
Right.
So now the question is, what's going on with the AI, right? How do you measure that? How do you know that it brings you the true results that you should see? So I think with the AI, with OpenAI and stuff like that, they also have some work on the local suggestions that they give us back, because it's not solid, it changes.
Right.
And you can't really put your finger on what makes the change. It's like you know where it gives you the sources at the bottom. So when you look into that, sometimes it's different, or sometimes it takes the results from that source and it
Right.
just kind of give it to you in whatever order it thinks. So it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
I think I'm fascinated by the search results through ChatGPT. I was just kind of playing around while you were talking on.
I want to see if I have it.
Um,
You know what's interesting? When we asked it, how did you get to those results? And then it says that it has a program tool that can conduct a real life search.
yeah.
Then we were like, okay, but what is that tool and where do you conduct your query? So it says, I have tools like Google that I can search, something of that sort. What's
Mm,
really interesting, it says like Google. And
mm,
what I expected it is was to say Bing or something of
right.
that, but it says like Google. Man,
Yeah.
it
But I
makes
do
you.
think so. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna share. So only because Travis was here, and I don't know if he still is or not. But so I did a search in Chappy GPT in the web search, like, hey, SEO companies for moving companies, because I know Travis has got a great company, Rotate Digital, love them. Um, but this is where ChatGPT offered up, like movers search marketing. I know this group as well, and I know they're a big competitor as well. I don't know. I have no idea, of these folks who is bigger, right? I have no idea. Um, I was disappointed, Travis. I'm a little disappointed that Rotate wasn't listed in here. I do have a
I want to
question.
see. What was the query? I want to type it in
Well, I
as well.
did SEO companies for moving companies, right? So I don't know. Maybe I need to word it differently to get Rotate Digital in there, but um, I- and so in this search, so my theory, and not a theory why Rotate isn't up there, but I do have this theory about as you have clients in SEO on your marketing agency side, we have clients as well. My theory and where we're trying to push is that I want to be sure that our clients are building their um, brand authority, brand awareness across multiple platforms in order to demonstrate that they're a big brand with authority, so that it will both show up in a uh, chat in a GPT search, or in Perplexity, or whatever those platforms are that you're looking in, and as well that you will be cited in the generative search citation, on whatever the information is, so that you are a resource for the information. And um, the only way that I've seen to be able to influence that is just build your brand as big as you can.
It's like I'm getting completely different results.
Completely different than what I got.
Pro as well. I'm using 4.0. I literally did SEO companies for moving companies. Um,
What did you get? Flash yours up there. I want to see yours.
Moving authority was the first one. Hold on, my screen. One sec. Maybe I have a spell mistake. I don't think I do. Let's take a look. Share screen. So SEO companies for moving companies, right? That was
Uh,
your thing.
yeah.
Look at there. So we got the moving authority, mover booster.
Mover
Interesting enough,
search.
it doesn't even give me the links here.
That is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Can you show me yours for a second? Was it a location base?
Yeah, so this is interesting as well. So in thinking about this is so this is a link, and this first link takes it to their map, their GMB.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But underneath as well, if you can see this, this is taking it to a completely different page. This is taking it to their homepage. Um,
That is interesting. The first link is to Google. Is it the same person as well?
yeah, that's so in the listing that I have, it's got two links. Mover, this is their map link right here, and then underneath there's another link that's going to their homepage.
It's it's interesting. See, it's not
Actually,
consistent.
it's not even their homepage. It's going to a landing page specifically that they have for SEO for moving companies.
Huh. It might be the marketing agency that is doing their work. Look at the second one. Let's see if it's the same thing.
Yeah, so here's movers boosters, and I know it's going to take it to their map. And then they've got here is the snippet, so to speak. And then, but that one is going to their homepage.
This get more moving jobs. Okay, that makes sense. Huh.
But you can kind of see. So I said SEO for moving companies, and here's in their
Yeah, that makes
H
sense.
tag here. Boom, here it is. SEO for movers. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I right at the moment, I'm really am fascinated by the search results when you're going on like GPT or some of the other ones, and how they're serving up and why. I'm thinking of why are they serving that um, instead of something else, right? Um, yeah,
What's the source? Click on the sources. Let's see
yeah,
where all that stuff.
yeah.
The bottom one.
Oh, this one, yeah. So I think it's just going to pull up,
That,
and then more.
yeah.
Yeah, and then just more. So then this is kind of pulling up similar as what you would see from
The kind of SERP.
yeah. But I
Okay.
do know ChatGPT is pulling from Bing. That's where it's getting its results.
Let's do something fun. Ask it, where did you get this source from? Or how did you get that source? Let's see if it will tell us that Google thing.
Where did you get these sources?
Why did they give us the same
And
thing?
online profiles.
So
Yeah,
ask it, how did you get those online profiles? Where did you find those online profiles?
yes. Profiles. I'm a horrible typer, so typist. Uh,
I really want to see if it's going to say that Google thing.
yeah. I've choked it. It's like, wait, what?
The credit says company. Man, it's like it's
Uh,
ign- it's ignoring your question.
it really is, right?
Ignoring your question. Why is it ignoring your question? Information.
Yeah, it's
Huh.
just like their official websites and online profiles.
Hold on, ask me.
Yeah, crazy.
That is super weird. I wonder why it's ignoring your
Yeah,
question.
I do find it interesting in that I know that it's pulling from Bing, but it is serving up the Google map. Um,
That's the weird part.
yeah,
Like it is pulling from Bing. Like how is it? Why would it link to Google?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know, but this is what makes like kind of the unknown of 2025, right? For our industry, like what the heck is going to happen?
Yeah,
Who knows?
see,
Um,
that's the thing. Like this is where some of the stuff are still not stable. Like
yes,
I'm sure they're going to say, wait, are we showing Google results?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense for them to
Yeah.
show Google results.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they can show the Google results as an add-on, but how come they're not sending traffic to Bing?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I don't know. I have no
See, like,
idea.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that those companies are literally figuring out as they go.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we have a huge vision, and a lot of the small things, they're just tweaking it as they go. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, here's this. All right, let's figure this out. Let's see how this works. And then, yeah, like all of those big companies, we never seen them act like that in the past.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was always, all right, here's a new thing, and it's well
Right. Right.
architectured, like it's well designed, structured, whatever it is, and that's what they do. That's what's going to last for usually a year or a couple of years. And now it's like, here's an update. Shit, we broke something, or we missed something, or
Right.
we didn't
Right.
think about that. Okay, let's change it. Let's
Yeah.
go back. Even Facebook, yeah, 2 days ago, I noticed that nobody had their friends showing. Nobody. Like if you, I don't know if you noticed that there was it was a day for me. I couldn't see anybody's friends and followers count, and nothing. And then yesterday it got fixed. So it's like it's all over the place.
Yeah. Here's Jordan Pierce, AJP, man. Good to see you. Uh, so his comment on it, because their Google business profile being linked from their website. I'm going to go check that out. Let me go see. So here's my research being linked out from their website. Could be. That's a good page that these guys got. Um, I don't know. That is a really good man. That page on wow, that's pretty
Being
impressive.
linked to the website.
Yeah, I was just waiting to see if to kind of prove that out a little bit. Could be. That could be. And then a lot of results also link out to Google Maps that no longer have a profile. And now that is true as well. Um, I don't know. I do think back again because everything is changing so much and so dynamically that focus on building your brand, make as your brand a big of a footprint as you possibly can, whether it's your brand or for your clients. And think about all of the different things, hitting the citations, getting websites, getting content, getting across social media platforms, doing press releases, doing all of this stuff just to create a massive voice for your brand. Um, I think will give you the fortitude to withstand any, crazy stuff that Google is doing.
One of the things that I've recently started doing is, let's say I start working with a brand or somebody, I'll go and I'll ask ChatGPT, who is so and so, and like where they're based or what. And if I
Yeah,
don't get really good data from that, like I know that there's just not enough out there. So
yeah,
even if they can't find anything or enough to justify what I want
right,
to see, then I
right.
know that there's not enough footprint.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
and we want to make sure that ChatGPT and all of them, they are aware of our clients, us, and everybody. You want to ask like, hey, like you want to ask Chat like, who is Randy, right? Who's Randy the
right,
news guy?
right,
You should get a good, decent answer. And
right.
if not, you know you have some content to create. That's the way it is.
Hmm,
Which reminds me,
interesting.
content.
Yeah. Well, listen, brother, I got to get rolling. I've got somebody I got to talk with at 11:30. I got to prep for. I just love talking with you. I'm so thank you so much for jumping on and shooting it with me. I appreciate it. I hope I get to see you soon in the new year. I don't know what. I'm not sure. Where are you today? Are you in Israel today? Where are you?
In Israel right now.
Okay.
I will be in spring training in May.
SEO spring training. Nice. Very good.
I'll catch you over there.
So I'll see
Uh,
you in May. That'll
I
be
don't
good.
do anything before that. That,
Okay. All
that
right. Yeah.
Thank you, Randy. I'm
Yeah.
super grateful for being here, and thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
me.
Yes. And don't forget, folks, you can connect with Eldar, so many different places, but I'm going to throw up local Dominator though and catch him there. And go, you can find him on Facebook and all different kinds of places as well. Go shoot him a message. And again, brother, I appreciate it, folks. Next week, let me grab my schedule. I'm always so unprepared. Next week, I've got. Jabez Rubin. I'm kind of excited. I really don't know Jabez all that well, aside from there's quite a large SEO. So I'll be excited to see and have him on the show. Should be fun. And so you can catch us every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And again, please like, follow, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you next week. And until next time, I'll see you in the headlines.